Everybody, welcome to Aggressive Progressives. I'm Jimmy Dore. I'm here with Steve-O. How are you, Steve-O?
I'm great today.
We got a big panel. Look,
big panel today.
There's Malcolm Fleischner, or do you say Fleischner? How are you? We have two very special guests with us right now. Go look at this. Look at the camera over. Go look at these cameras. Oh, look who it is.
Wow.
Jordan Sheridan and Nomiki Cohn.
Oh, living room.
Nomiki.
Love it.
We're going to call her Nomi for today. Thanks, guys, for stopping by. Thanks for being here. I want to go, we're going to cover a lot of stuff. Jordan has some great reporting. You just came back from Alabama, and they passed a minimum wage and for the people, but there's a lot of problems with it because the white people who are controlling the town are trying to screw over the black people who would be getting the minimum wage. We're going to talk about that. Also, Malcolm Fleischner here has a happy or a shitty birthday. Who is it for today?
It's your close friend of mine, Pat Robertson, turning 87.
Wait, he's still alive?
He's turning 87. Well, you know, all those age-defying shakes really, I guess it works.
You know what? They can keep evil people alive now. I mean, Dick Cheney doesn't even have a heart. Doesn't have a pulse. Anyway, Steve-O, we're going to talk about you can now spend money if you're in prison to buy a nicer prison cell.
Wow.
Oh my God,
There's even a class system.
It's called pay to stay.
Pay to stay. Oh.
Pay to stay.
You know, not with that name, it sounds pretty good. It rhymes. Yeah. I mean, I'm sold.
So I'm going to take advantage of having our aggressive progressive from. Boy, there are so many aggressive progressives here. I feel fantastic. Ooh. So I'm going to start off with this. I was watching Jake Tapper. That's his real name, not his porn name.
First mistake.
I was watching Jake Tapper, and he had on Rick Santorum. That's his real name. Also
a porn name. Don't Google it.
Janet Granholm was on. And so the whole reason.
Jennifer Granholm?
Yeah, what did I say, Janet?
Yes.
Jennifer, I'm sorry, the ex-Michigan governor.
Yes, Jennifer.
Yes, former current TV host.
Steve's kind of in love with her a little bit.
She's fantastic. She was a Hillary supporter, but it doesn't make her bad people. And so she was on. And watch what happened, because they always said you can't have Bernie in the general because the Republicans will call him a socialist and then poof, the Titanic's gonna sink, right? It's gonna be all over. They're gonna call him a socialist and then that's it. So I'm gonna watch Rick Santorum does that. Jennifer Granholm, who by the way was a Hillary supporter.
I know. I still
watch
like
how
her.
she handles it. Let's watch it. What did you say?
I still like her.
I like her too. I like a lot of people who voted for Hillary. Yeah. Okay. No, I don't like him that much. I'm kidding. Here we go.
The problem with that is that the Democratic Party has become the party of Bernie Sanders. I mean, they are the progressives. That's who control. I mean, to say there is a substantive difference between Perez and Ellison, there's no substantive difference. I mean, it was a style difference, a sort of connection difference. But on the philosophy, this is Bernie Sanders' party. And as striking as the Republican transformation under Trump is, it's even more striking, in my opinion, from a policy point of view, the transformation of the Democratic Party to be really the party of a Vermont socialist who has been out there on the far reaches of the Democratic Party, now is the central figure in their party. That to me is something that's really remarkable.
There it is. He did it. He said, there it is. The Democrats now the face of the party is a Vermont socialist. There it is. I'm surprised something didn't blow up. I can't believe a dead body didn't fall from the ceiling. Something's going to happen now. I wonder what Jennifer Granholm's going to say. I wonder what she could say. There's a Hillary supporter. Somebody just called Bernie Sanders a socialist from Vermont. Well, how is she going to handle it? Let's see.
But wait a second, aren't you the person who was talking about making sure that trade is fair? I mean, haven't you been raising these same issues? You and I have both been raising these same issues. So Bernie Sanders has been raising those issues too. That economic core issue is a Democratic issue. You can brand it all you want, but you've been raising that issue too.
Okay. So that was less than 30 seconds. She totally smacks him down, and let's watch how he comes back. He comes back by agreeing with her.
I've been raising issues. It's not a core Democratic issue. Obviously, it's something I've been raising. And if you recall, the last president to put in tariffs was George W. Bush. Who put in steel tariffs? So no, this is not.
So you're in alignment with Bernie Sanders.
On the issue of trade. On the issue of trade, there is alignment. But
there it is, bam. And that's how you would have handled those jagoffs when they would have called him a socialist. Just like that. Wait a minute, you're in agreement with them on economic trade, aren't you? Oh, well, yeah, on economic trade. Sure, I'm with the socialist. So there you go. Within 30 seconds, she's not even a freaking Bernie supporter. She was a Hillary supporter. She took him down in 30 seconds. Bam. And that's how they would have did it. What do you think? First time I saw you was on CNN doing the same thing. And so that's why when I saw this and I heard you're going to be on the show, I was so excited. I wanted to show this and I wanted to get your reaction to it.
Well, first off, Jennifer Granholm, I've debated many times, and I went up to her at the convention and I said, you were the only surrogate I thought was great, and I think they should have used you everywhere. And I'm saying that to Jennifer Granholm, who is the co-chair of American Bridge and who was making hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to elect Hillary Clinton. So I completely agree with you on that. I think she's actually a brilliant debater. And the problem is that she may say that on CNN, but the reality is her entire history, even as governor of Michigan, is against that. So I think right now she realizes that the message, the label, the brand of Bernie Sanders is really fun to say on CNN. But when it comes down to the Democratic Party and who they're choosing to run the Democratic Party, lead the Democratic Party, transition the Democratic Party, including half of the DNC members who actually agree with Bernie Sanders' message, union leaders, Randy Weingarten going out there retweeting Bernie Sanders all day long, Keith Ellison. Jennifer Granholm is not part of that party.
Let me ask you, so that's interesting. And that, which makes that videotape to me all the more compelling, because she's not a progressive in the sense that we are, or Bernie is, and that she was a Hillary Clinton supporter, and even she was able to, at the drop of a hat, make Rick Santorum backpedal and say, yes, I agree on trade with a Vermont socialist. And it was just like that. And I don't think that she sat around and in a think tank, hey, how do we respond when Rick Santorum called? It came right off the tip of her tongue. It came right out of her like nothing. So,
to your point, Jimmy, it's super easy to defend Bernie Sanders' position. You know why? Most of America agrees with him.
Yes.
It's really easy. Most politicians, if they want to get votes, would say the exact same thing that he's saying. So they can always attack him by throwing out generalities like, oh, he's a socialist. He's on the far edge. He's a fringe character. Yes. He's a cranky guy. He had little success as a legislator. They can make all these generalizations. But when you talk about the details of what he stands for and what he fights for, they have to back down. They have no choice, because he takes the correct position on everything across the board, and he has the support of the American people, and he has the support of basically every single, whether it's Republicans or Democrats or independents, they all like him. So it's hard to demonize him on any kind of a policy proposal. Is just a same old stupid tired trope of he's a socialist.
Yeah, it just goes to show you that that word doesn't scare people. It can easily be beaten back. And all that stuff that the Hillary people were saying about Bernie getting crushed in the general because they were going to call him a socialist, I just think that piece of videotape should put the end to that stupid argument. And that's a wrong argument. I knew it at the time, and that proves it. Okay.
But Jimmy, what this shows, it's much bigger. Why the fuck is Rick Santorum and Jennifer Granholm, Jenny, on CNN? You see a poll today. Bernie Sanders is the most popular politician in America among Democrats, independents, and he's tied among Republican voters with Chuck Schumer, who is a Republican. Yet in all these segments, we don't see any actual progressives on these panels talking about Bernie Sanders. We see Rick Santorum, who, by the way, when he was a senator, wasn't really fighting these trade deals. Jennifer Granholm, when she was running a super PAC for Hillary Clinton, not exactly talking about trade, nor was Hillary Clinton. Give me a break. That's why people are watching the aggressive progressives, because Jennifer Palmieri is now living at MSNBC. She's on all the panels. John Podesta just got a columnist job at the Washington Post. I'm not saying if you are incorrect or politically stupid, you shouldn't earn a living. But the fact that they keep putting these same usual establishment suspects from the right, from the left on to talk about the Bernie movement. No, put some progressives on.
But you know why they do this? And this has been reported on, and they actually acknowledge this. Jeff Zucker has acknowledged this, that these people are giving them access to the lawmakers and the people that they want for these big interviews. So when you have a Maria Cardona, who I love to debate on CNN, who you can't, I mean, we're talking pay to play from every single angle, from the super PACs to handling all the field for the super PACs to representing Saudi Arabia and Enron. I mean, it's all, she is no Democrat, and she's on the DNC leadership, and she's a contributor to CNN who doesn't rate well. So it's not like her ratings are so great they have to have her on TV. No, she gives them access to people that they need interviews with, which do get them those ratings. And it's CNN in particular has turned into a patronage machine. And they're gonna hate me for saying this, but they don't have me on anymore.
Oh, with Alan Dershowitz.
Yeah, well, it's true. They've become a patronage machine. The contributorships that they give out, the people they pay to go on, are literally getting these gigs because Hillary Clinton, it's like, oh, you've been doing that work for me? You can go out there and become my surrogate and get paid for it. Or Andrew Cuomo, who's gonna run for president, his brother, Chris Cuomo, he has 3 of his most loyal supporters on CNN shooting the crap from Christine Quinn, who's literally ran for mayor of New York and is like more unlikable. Her ratings are lower than Bill de Blasio right now. She's working for Andrew Cuomo as a henchman. Basil Smikle, executive director of the Democratic Party. What does he have to say about national politics? Well, guess what? He's on CNN all the time. It's a patronage machine, and I wish that we would just have this conversation about, it's not just that it's about ratings and money, it's that it's become a political tool for the establishment to spread their propaganda and give rewards to their people.
Boy, it's almost like Chomsky knew what he was talking about.
I think it's more like, well, I'm not saying Chomsky didn't know what he was talking about, but George Carlin knew what he was talking about when he said that it's a club and you ain't in it.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry, Jordan, that nobody's going to give you indigestion with dropping all these names.
Yeah.
Jordan is like noticeably audibly groaning at the various names. But what I don't think we're considering is that Hillary was supposed to win, and when she didn't, there are a lot of people who need jobs. And they were expecting to have jobs in the administration, and they need to be taken care of. And so this is an ecosystem that takes care of their own. None of the Bernie people got jobs at CNN or at the Washington Post and all those sort of. I mean, they didn't win either, but they were not expecting to have jobs, and they had no reason to expect them. But I think
Tom Perez, I'm sure he's very inclusive. I'm sure he's going to staff the DNC with at least half of the Bernie people.
No,
right?
he doesn't have to be half. It should be like 60-40.
But you know what? Back to Jordan's point about why are these people even on CNN? Rick Santorum, really? Who cares about Rick Santorum? I mean, he's a dummy, and he's full of shit, and he lies.
And a loser.
He's a total loser, and he's irrelevant. So why is he on there? Okay, I mean, is there a single millennial who cares one bit what Rick Santorum says? I don't think so.
I think he's on there because their average age viewer is, I think, 67 years
61.
old.
CNN's the youngest, actually.
Oh, is it?
60?
So CNN 61.
Average.
It's the median age.
What, like 100-year-old people watching CNN?
No. So get this. So CNN's median age is 61. MSNBC is 63. Fox News is 67. So for every 43-year-old who's watching Fox News, you have a
110-year-old.
Bill O'Reilly is 70.
Yeah, 70. That's the median age is for Bill O'Reilly, 70 years old.
How old is?
In Rick Santorum's defense, he does have the highest name recognition.
Okay, but Bill O'Reilly
For
said
other reasons, though.
Well, I didn't say why. Like, millennials know him from reading Dan Savage's column, and he's got that on some of the other candidates.
How old is Bill O'Reilly's neck?
As old as Mitch McConnell's.
Okay. Oh no. So this is great. This is fun. I have all progressives on. This is great. So I wanted to. So Nomi, you're on, and you wanted to talk about this, right? So the DNC.
Yes.
And they sent out this letter. DNC announces their Transition Advisory Committee. There it is. That's Jason Ray, Secretary, Democratic National Committee. And so Tom Perez announced the party's Transition Advisory Committee. Do you want to see who's on there? First of all, it will be co-chaired by Reverend Leah D. Daugherty. Daugherty, thank you. Longtime Democratic Party strategist, and most recently CEO of the 2016 Democratic National Convention. Ooh, that doesn't really make me feel good. The 2016 National Convention was brought to us by Comcast, was it not? I'm pretty sure.
Smoke and mirrors.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go back to that letter. And the advisory committee is comprised of a wide swath of leaders, all of them corporatists, activists, and organizers who represent the Democratic Party's big tent. This team is charged with providing concrete suggestions and advice on building a party that reaches into and represents every corner of America. Now, when I'm reading that, whoever wrote that, I'm sure they were typing with one hand and going like this with the other, because that's what that is. So here, our Democratic turnaround will be a success because everyone has a seat at the table. said Tom Perez, making the jerk off motion as he said that. So I'm honored to have such a talented and diverse group of leaders guiding our transition. Diverse. We have white corporatists and black corporatists and female corporatists and Mexican corporatists. Together, we'll right the ship and get the Democratic Corporatist Party in a position to take the fight to Donald Trump and the Republican Party and win. Okay, so here are the people. So now, Nomi, you know these people. So here it is, the 2017 DNC Transition Advisory Committee. Now, how many of those, so there's Mark Begich is at the top, right? So now how many of those people are full out progressive Bernie Sanders supporters?
One.
One?
Wait, well, I'll say two, because Sally Boynton Brown, who ran for DNC chair, was supportive of Bernie Sanders, but she was not a Keith Ellison supporter because she was running against him. On the second ballot, she was.
She's from Idaho or?
Idaho, she's executive director.
Yes.
You know, but they can crush her. Honestly, it's Representative Jayapal, who's a socialist, for the most part. That's a bone that they threw. And then the rest are, you have these like faux progressives. Now that I'm not covering the race, I can tell you all what I think.
Oh, please.
Yeah, there's a lot of people on that list who, Dore, obviously he's a social justice movement guy who ended up working out deals with Wells Fargo and other places, and our audience is probably very familiar with him.
Well, they went and got, I mean, he's a Black Lives Matter activist. They found a Black Lives Matter activist who's a Hillary Clinton supporter.
What?
I mean, that's, how hard do they have to dig? Yeah.
So, and can we put that list back up so I can just read it, because I can't. So you have Pete Buttigieg, who is this young guy, and I know a lot of progressives were like, we liked Pete, but did you ever hear Pete talk about economic issues?
Was he from Indiana?
He's from Indiana.
Yes, I heard him. He's not good.
He's very scripted. And he's a charter school guy.
And he pretended that there wasn't a division inside the party. He pretended there wasn't a battle happening between. So it was more gaslighting bullshit. And a time when people are just craving authenticity, he was giving us more of that bullshit. He was like Martin O'Malley to me.
And funny you say that, because the person running his campaign was Liz Smith, who's a friend of mine, full disclosure. She is the former deputy campaign manager for Martin O'Malley.
Oh, well, there you go.
And former girlfriend to Elliot Spitzer.
Oh, no kidding.
Sorry.
Wow. No, is that if she was?
She's no, I mean, like, it's fully documented. You can Google her name and you'll be like, oh my God, I had no idea.
You say a real girlfriend.
Yeah, real girlfriend.
Jimmy's suggesting it might have been contractual, but no.
No. She's very nice.
For the word. I couldn't think of a nice way to say it.
She's very nice.
All right, well, listen, we've already gone over the free part of the time. We have a lot more to get to dissecting this bullshit DNC Transition Advisory Committee. Plus, Jordan Sheridan has some great reporting from Alabama. We have, we're going to talk about a shitty birthday to Pat Robertson. And if we have time, we're going to get to a story that Steve brought us about people paying more money to get nicer jail cells for the rich. It's a true story. So right now, this is the free part. If you want to see the rest of the show, you become a member, right? It's only $10 a month, which is less than the price of a cup of coffee. Coffee's $11 now. So you go to tytnetwork.com/join. Go right now, tytnetwork.com/join. It's $10 a month. You get access to this show all the time, plus all the other after show and all the other premium benefits. tytnetwork.com/join. We'll see you in just a few minutes. And if you're a member, you know where to go.